Okay, everyone, so we're here to trade, right? It's the last 3 days of the bootcamp, and we are finally on the chart ready to trade. And I'm gonna show you exactly how I do it myself. So it's gonna be in 3 episodes. Today, I'm just gonna take the position, right? So I'm gonna analyze the chart. If we have any kind of, you know, opportunity, I'm gonna take it live. And if we don't have any opportunity, I'm just gonna update the video later. You know, probably gonna have our entry on the second or the third episode of that, small part of the bootcamp. So what I do when I enter the market, so it's um, it's been 5 minutes that then London session opened already, and I'm on the 4 hour time frame. So right here I'm trading XAU USD, and you have this 4 hour chart here, and you see that big bullish move that kept on going since August 22nd. Okay, so you have this big move, and you know that we're in an uptrend, and we didn't have any pullback actually, because when you see this, you see that it kept on going and going and going from 3,322 to 3,533, right? Which is a big jump. So here I don't have to do anything. I understand that, okay, it's an uptrend, and I understand that there are probably some levels here and there that might be of interest. So when I zoom in and I go on the on the 1 hour, I clearly see that there are clear levels that are drawn here. So for example, it was an uptrend, it's been a while, but if you see here, the price couldn't go lower than these levels, and it kept on pushing forward and pushing upwards and pushing upwards until reaching new levels, and then stopped going below these levels and then pushed upwards, etc., etc. So it kept on having that same kind of behavior without necessarily having any pullbacks, right? And here you see that last push, and this is today. So what I want to see, I want to see this behavior keeping on going. So some analysis on Seeking Alpha say that it could reach between 3,600 and 3,900. Now that's a big range. So I want to be precise when I take my entry, because I either take a few days entry or I take an intraday entry. So it's either taking a few hours or 2 to 3 days maximum. And we're already Wednesday today. So you have this push to the upside, and you have this important level forming. As you see, these levels are important because it keeps on pushing the price forward. However, you want to have a wide stop loss to be able to handle any spikes that might happen here on the downside if you take long. So I do have a level here and a level here, right? So I'm gonna just zoom in on the 15 minutes, and what we see on the 15 minutes, just like here, yesterday I took a long on this one, and just like here, you see that the price keeps hovering around. However, it's not a rule that it's only gonna be active in one session or the other. The push might happen anytime during the day, but you wanna be there. You wanna enter your trade as the push is happening. You wanna be into the market when the push is happening, so you have the best price. So for example, we reached this level and we kept having these rejections to the upside. Same thing here, same thing here, same thing here. Tried pushing to the downside but kept getting rejected. Now I want to have a long position here. So I have two choices. I either wait for a breach and try to have a good enough price for me to enter and take my trade, or I take my entry here and have a wide stop loss, a good enough stop loss. And if, for example, this price breaches these levels or goes lower than these levels, then my trade is invalidated. and this is where I want to put my stop loss, where if the price reaches there, the trade would be invalidated, because sometimes the price might pull back a little bit and then go your direction, so you don't want to have a too tight stop loss to not get taken out, right? So here I'm just gonna show you all my drawings, because yesterday I actually took a position here, as you can see. So the same thing happened. I took a position here after seeing this breach, this small breach of this small range to the upside. So I took this entry, the price kept hovering around, pulled back, and then pushed to the upside and hit my take profit. So this was a 2.86 risk to reward ratio, and I took it trying to reach a good enough level. And this was my first take profit, this was my second take profit, right? So I see the same thing happening today, as the price is hovering around, but I want to have a good confirmation, because the price can just drop, so what we can do here is basically wait for the price to breach these levels. If I can draw that here, okay, and I'm gonna put an alarm around here. So when the alarm is gonna when this level is gonna be reached, the alarm is gonna ring, and then I'm gonna take my position as the price breaches these levels, okay? And I'm gonna have a white stop loss here that would allow me to ride with the price when the price moves forward. So I'll touch point on this quickly. Other things that I'm also using sometimes the previous day low and the previous day high, so I know where we're going, and that's pretty important in my strategy, for the simple reason that look at this example. For example, if I take an example like this, I draw the previous day low and the previous day high. What we have here is that we have rejections pushing the price to the downside after this at the level of this previous day high. Does this mean the price will finally pull back after all these months of keeping the push to the upside? We don't know, but what we want to see, we want to keep riding that trend until that trend proves us wrong. Because as you keep riding the trend and you keep having the profit, it's okay to have a loss at the end if the price roll over and goes to the opposite direction, and then you ride the other trend. But however, here I see the price getting this high volume pushes to the upside, even though you have small rejections here, which is fine. And if it breaches these levels here, I'm gonna take my long position. So we can delete that, and I will touch point on two things: indicators and this nice small icon, which is talking about the news. So I'm using TradingView right now for the sake of simplicity of explanation, but I take all my positions on MT5. Okay, so this that you see here that I selected is the volume profile, and the volume profile simply allows me to know at which level the price is the asset is traded the most, at which price. And here you see that people found a consensus price, so the buyers and the sellers, market participants, quote unquote, found a consensus price at this level. So it's 3478, right? And this is important because as soon as, and this is what I saw, as soon as you have a news or an imbalance or new information coming to the market, and the price needs to be recalculated for this particular asset to find this point of control again, another point of control at another level, the price will be volatile and move from one point to the other. And your job as a trader will take your entry at the beginning of that move and take your exit at the end of that move. Okay? So if you take a small part of it, it's fine. If you take all of it, it's amazing. But this is why I use this. It's just to find out where is the price the most traded, where it is the most liquid, and I want some new information breaching this level, getting out of this point of control, so I can ride the price to the upside or the downside. Now, why I'm using this 24-hour volume is simply to know when you have a move, how much the volume increases, and this allows me to know that okay, people are behind this move. It's not just random, and I can confidently ride that price. Now, what's good with news is that you have a lot of events here that will be talking about metals, and if I select any other asset, you'll have related news here. Okay, so here we have all news of XAU USD, and that allows us to basically understand what is going on and what people think about that. And it's important because sentiment analysis is very, very interesting, as the price uh, is also being driven by the psychology of the market participants, right? So you'll have here all the news related to gold and commodities, and probably you'll also have some forex news as well, and some news about global economies. And this is nice because on TradingView you also have ideas and mind, so you can like speak your mind, what you think about it. You can read other people's ideas, although be aware they're not always true. They're a lot of them can be wrong. And then you'll be set to even use this small indicators that allows you to have an overview on the price and at which level you are, and the days range, 52 weeks range, etc., etc. So you have a lot of things here to use, but don't get overwhelmed with the information. You have a lot of things here to use, but don't get overwhelmed with the information. So the only thing you should be focusing on is your entry and the indicators, and the way of reading the price, basically the price dynamic that you have to use to get this on. So when I'm gonna have that alarm that will ring, I'll jump on in another video to explain you how I'm gonna take the entry and how I took the entry, which is gonna be episode 2, and episode 3 will be taking the exit, and we're gonna do everything together. So see you there.